Hi. Welcome to another episode of Fact Engine where I cover science, technology, business, and history. Elon Musk became the world's richest person when his wealth reached $340 billion on November 4, 2021. He lost the title early this month to French fashion and cosmetics magnate Bernard Arnault. Musk, who recently acquired the microblogging platform Twitter for $44 billion, was the second person to amass over $200 billion after Jeff Bezos.
You are watching Fact Engine TV.
Maybe it's only 500 Cybertrucks. Right. Again, depends on the range they're talking about here. They're comparing same Model Ys to Cybers. Let's say there are 1,000 Cybertrucks though. That would still be enough for 52,000 Cybertrucks the first year, and we expect that production to really go into effect this year for the Cybertruck, which will be a pretty big game-changing catalyst for Tesla's standstill finally enter the sort of rugged market, if you will. That's going to be big, not only for construction, but people who like towing, people who like camping. It's going to be pretty incredible. Unfortunately, in the meantime, we have some very depressing short-term news, such as NIO cutting their delivery guidance for Q4 due to the disaster that is going on in China. NIO obviously sells vehicles in China, so they give us a nice leading indicator of what to expect when they provide guidance cuts for China. And remember, Tesla to sell a lot of vehicles in China as well. NIO's guidance went from a production guidance and delivery guidance of 43,000 vehicles to 48,000 vehicles in just one quarter. It's actually a pretty good production from NIO. That's not bad. It's a midpoint of about 45,500 vehicles in just a quarter. They reduced that to 5 to 39,500 vehicles expected. That's a midpoint of about 39,000 instead of 45.5, which basically represents a 16.3% drop in Q4 outlook. That's not good, and that is definitely weighing on Tesla's sales, and a lot of this is happening because of COVID in China. Some of these things are absolutely ridiculous. So there was a rumor that Shanghai was going to shut down on the 25th through the end of December. It looks like Shanghai actually ended up being shut down on the 24th. And so this led to some suggestions that, while Tesla's letting everybody go home early, things must be really slow. And now Tesla China has of course responded and said, well, this isn't completely accurate, but they're not exactly the best at PR. So hence stock down now. This also, comes in addition to the fact that in January, Tesla Shanghai will have an extended product shutdown or production shutdown. Keep in mind, Tesla Shanghai is the most inexpensive, most efficient, and most producing gigafactory for Tesla. So it's a big deal at least until Berlin and Austin fully ramp and Fremont continues its build-out. Although what you're paying in Tesla California for cars is a lot more expensive than what you're paying in Tesla China. But anyway, the production shutdown is expected to run from January 19th through January 31st. That means we'll only actually see production from about January 3rd to January 19th. That's only about 17 days in January. That's almost a 50% shutdown. If you consider the days that we're gonna be down here in December, you got almost a total of about 3/4 of a month of a shutdown for Tesla's most productive factory. So, a little bit of a concern here, especially since the public Chinese New Year holiday is technically from January 21st to the 27th. So the fact that Tesla is going to be shut down from the 19th through the 31st, for more days to here too, there is a little bit concerning for some regarding production in China. Now in fairness, it's worth noting that less people are buying cars in China right now because of, COVID. It's a complete disaster right now. Part of that is actually because China is lifting a substantial amount of their COVID restrictions. They actually just started removing their inbound travel quarantine requirements, which will be fully lifted on January 8th. After 3 years of almost zero COVID policies, they also begin processing visa applications. Again, they've downgraded the management of COVID, which originally allowed them to implement those really restrictive policies and lockdowns in China, which has become so famous for being an example of authoritarian government, and they've changed the name of the virus from the new coronavirus pneumonia to new coronavirus infections. All of these changes are now sort of an abrupt U-turn, making it easier for people to actually conduct business and live in China. At the same time, China is also not going to publish a daily COVID surveillance anymore. However, we've got plenty of insights into coroners' offices, where dead people go, and hospitals being severely understaffed, not enough fever medication. So people are staying home longer and sicker longer. The peak of this COVID surge is expected to be in January. Manufacturing Tech Hub in Zhejiang province, which is also known as iPhone City, is seeing 1 million COVID cases a day in just one city. That's expected to double in about 2 weeks from now, which puts us around January 10th. Activity is dropping everywhere. Retail sales, shops, restaurants down 18%. Subway ridership is down 70% below its 2019 levels. Factory worker production, export, production, car sales, real estate sales, everything is plummeting because everyone's sick. Daily steel production is down 3.4%. And exports to South Korea are down 27% in just the first 20 days of the month. China's insured units for Tesla last week, it came in at just 8,915. Those are new insurance registrations. That's down from 10,000 for just last week. This is obviously clearly leading less Chinese to buy cars because everybody's freaking sick. It makes complete and logical sense. And usually, and this is my opinion, okay, usually when you have a really big sale in a Black Friday, you sell less product in the weeks thereafter because people who would have ordinarily bought in the weeks thereafter have pulled forward their demand to a Black Friday. Let's say in that example, right? The same thing happens in like solar cells or maybe even Tesla America, where everybody kind of rushes in at the end of the year buys and then you have slower sales in January. That's normal. That's called a pull forward. Well, in my opinion, what's happening with COVID is you're actually not destroying demand because everyone's car sales are going down, right? In U.S. car sales, Bentley car sales, Tesla's car sales. This is not a Tesla-like loss of sales. This is a Tesla delay of sales. It is a pushback of sales and the stock dropping on. Billionaire Elon Musk, formerly the richest man in the world, has broken a new record. The Tesla founder and Twitter owner has become the first person in history to lose $200 billion off his net worth. The multi-billion-dollar bloodbath comes after Musk, in 2021, became only the second person to ever amass a fortune more than $200 billion, after Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Musk, whose net worth peaked in November 2021 at $340 billion, has seen his wealth plunge to $137 million as Tesla's shares have plummeted 65% in the past year. It has been the electric carmaker's worst year to date. The decline included an 11% plunge on Tuesday alone after the Wall Street Journal reported that a surge in COVID cases had forced Tesla to temporarily halt production in Shanghai. Musk lost his title as the richest man in the world earlier this month. In a memo sent to staffers Wednesday, the billionaire thanked workers for their exceptional execution throughout the year while downplaying the company's dismal stock performance. "Don't be too bothered by stock market craziness," Musk said in the memo. "As we demonstrate continued excellent performance, the market will recognize that." Tesla stocks have plummeted more than 65% this year, the company's worst to date. Musk's historic losses are indicative of how high Musk and Tesla soared during the pandemic. Despite owning just a small piece of the electric vehicle market, Tesla was valued at over $1 trillion by October 2021, joining other tech giants like Apple, Amazon, and Google's parent company Alphabet. But as competitors have quickly caught up and are challenging Tesla's dominance in the electric vehicle market, Musk's attention has focused on his newest venture as the owner and CEO of social media giant Twitter. According to Wealth Index, Musk was forced to sell much of his Tesla stock this year as a result of his mammoth $44 billion purchase of Twitter. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to see anything on science, technology, business, or history, feel free to subscribe. There will be a lot of content on this channel. This is Amol, and you have been watching Fact Engine, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers guys, have a good one.